Everybody, we are here with another podcast, virtual podcast, for our first gen celebration coming up. It should be this week when you're watching it. So I'm excited. On this version, we have an actual student who is first gen. I have Tram with me. Which college are you a part of? What year are you in?
Yeah, I am a part of the College of Business, and my major is accounting and finance. This is my last year here at K-State. I am a senior, but actually I'm going to not exactly the last year because I'm applying for my grad school here.
Oh, fantastic. So you're going to stick around for a while.
Yes.
I'm always envious of we lost our background there. We'll just keep going. I'm always envious of the College of Business building, like when I walk by. And in fact, when I walked by this morning, I was like, man, look at it. It's glorious, and there's all those windows in it. So I work in the College of Ed, and we don't have a lot of windows. So, let's kind of get started on our questions, and just jump right in. You being a first-gen student, what does it mean for you to be a first-gen student?
Yeah, so for me, being a first-gen student is like going to a forest without knowing where you would end up, and without a map, like really. My parents, like their highest education was like middle to high school level, and they're immigrants, and when we came to the US, we did not speak any English, and they still don't, like they barely speak any English, but not as much, just for, job and work purposes. But for me, I have to learn English from day one, like when I was 10 years old. It's just a little bit difficult. And then thinking about like college after high school is like a dream. Like, what if I can't afford going to college and my parents don't know what college means? Like, I don't have anyone there to ask the questions like every other family might have. But I'm lucky enough to like meet people at K-State during high school to guide me through that process. Slowly, I'm here, like I'm a senior, so...
Yes, you're almost there.
Yeah, it's a tough journey at like being a freshman, but just learning my way around like the first gen office, very like helpful with making sure students get the help and the resources they need to be successful here at K-State.
Well, that's just it's an inspiring story, really, to come to you. As I have one of my dear lifelong friends, actually similar story, where they came from the Philippines, and I believe he was 11 or 12, because I think he said he was in the 6th grade, and they came to California, and it was saying he had no English. The school kind of just stuck him in the back sort of area of, you'll figure it out, and to be where you're at today, you should be extremely proud. I'm sure your family is extremely proud. So how has your experience at K-State been as a first-gen student?
Yeah, like I mentioned, we have so many resources here at K-State from the first day. So I was actually a part of this summer bridge program for multicultural students, and also many of them that I met there are first-gen students. And I, like straight out of high school, I was here for the summer. Like, I don't have a summer break before college. I was here taking classes. Jump straight in. Yeah, I live on campus with like 29 other students. So it's a total of 30 students. 10 students from the College of Business, 10 from the College of Ag, and 10 from the College of Engineering. From different places. In and
so you have kind of like your own little community there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I only get to come to campus through a program in high school. Like, I can't just go visit colleges because my parents is working and they don't know English and we don't know how to get there sometimes. It's very limited with the time I get to see the actual campus. But through that program, I was here before the summer, take classes, meet with friends, get to talk to different people here. And it's the people, the culture at K-State really stick out, that they're trying to help me where I want to be. And when you think of a bigger college and a bigger community, I never have a sense of not belonging. Like
That's fantastic.
yes.
Yeah, because it is like K-State can be
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yes,
You know, as big as
exactly.
a campus it is, and just as how many people there are in buildings, and so and as somebody who works here, sometimes I walk by a building and I'm like, I have no idea what happens in that building. You know,
Yeah.
so.
So through this program, I got scholarship opportunity that is affordable, like for me to go to college. Like I can pay for it through scholarship to be at K-State.
Sure.
So from thinking I have to go to JUCO, like a community college, and then transfer over, to like, oh my God, I can actually just go straight up a 4-year university without having that like financial barrier. And that,
which is a huge barrier.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's like I have great support from my parents, but they also like I don't want to be a burden for them. And that's a big thing as a first generation student. What if I can't make it through? Like I drop out midway, or it's too difficult. Like things like that always crosses my mind. Like what I'm not good enough, as in this is where everyone from different background, different places, but they're as smart as I am, probably even smarter than I am, kind of thing. Like I'm not with the people I know since high school. There are people who actually want a degree. Like they're not some slacker in high school no more. But yeah, it's like I have bigger like competitor, but also it gave me like a boost of like I need to do better to prove that I belong here, or not like I belong here, but I can do it. Like it's a way to say,
well,
yeah.
you definitely belong, and
you.
I think that it sounds like you're doing great things. And
thank you.
One question I do have is, what message do you have to our first gen students who are out there? You're at the senior and you're going to continue, but maybe like some of those early first gen ones, or even people who are considering becoming first gen.
Yeah, so I felt like my advice to them actually is like, don't be afraid to do what you like to do, or don't be afraid of the unknown.
Sure.
Because that is one of my biggest fear of thinking I'm not good enough and that there's no one there to support me, no one will help me. Like if you think of high school, like college isn't the same, which they're not the same. Like you have to do a lot of things on your own, but you have to make sure to reach out, like make sure to ask questions. Opportunities only come to the people who actually put in the work for it. It's just not gonna just show up at your door.
Sure.
But if it does, like you have to take it and run with it. Like,
yes, it's a very good message. Yes.
Yes, thank you. And if you fall, like don't be afraid to get up. Like don't be afraid. Like you learn something from it. Like, and in high school, I'm like a perfectionist of thinking I have to do things right the first time around, and it's not the case at all. College is about learning who you want to become and how you get there. So yeah, there's a lot of people to help you, and just make sure that you meet the right people.
That's good. Yeah. No, that's great advice, and I think that, like we talked about, it can be overwhelming. And I've had some earlier conversations today, and it was, if the conversation about college and universities and campus and how that life is didn't happen because you're the first one to go. You don't necessarily have that background knowledge, ahead of time before you come. And one thing I do feel with K-State is that we do have opportunities for students, and we do have support for students. But like you said, there is sometimes you have to be the one sometimes that maybe goes to that first gen office or contacts that student group. And you have to put a little bit of time. It's hard when you have all these students and then you say, well, which one of these students is struggling? Which one can I go help? So it does take sometimes that first step in the student, at least in my experience, in my opinion. So.
And I feel like it takes a lot of courage for that individual, like that first gen student, to make that first step. Like that first step always the most difficult, but after that, I think it's just naturally. You just go with it. Like it's all good.
So you probably know a lot of other first gen students,
Yeah,
correct?
uh-huh.
So what would you like our viewers to know about first gen students? Like, what are a few things that you would like folks to know?
Yeah, so I think that a lot of common knowledge that for students who or have parents who have been to college or have people they know that gone to college
Mhm.
is not common to the one that is first gen.
Sure.
And there's conversation that is hard to ask, like you don't want to sound like you don't know what you're doing, which most likely they don't, but they don't want, like it's a fear that say, yeah, I don't want to embarrass myself by
Oh.
asking those questions.
Yes.
Yeah. So a sense of like I think on the other side of the situations, people should understand that first gen students are like a little baby. Like they need, yeah, they need a lot of help at the beginning, but from there on, they're on their way to
Sure.
whatever. But it's again with that first step.
Some support is needed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Sure.
I felt like the time that I need the most support is of course my freshman year, and I received all of that my freshman year. And then continue on, I already have a base, and then from there, I really don't need other people, not help, but it's also like I can become that person that help like the next generations of students who come in and don't know anything. So making sure that you come across that you want to help and you actually want to hear their story because not everyone's story is the same, and my story could be completely different from.
Yeah, your story is different than mine. I mean, I'm a first gen student, but our stories are completely different.
Yeah.
I
So like be respectful of like other people's story because you don't know what they've been through, and we all struggle in different ways. But be a good listener is the first good step. Yeah.
Very, very well put. Well, this next one is a heartfelt one, so it's giving you the opportunity to a message to your parents. You said you can do that in any way you like. You can speak to the camera or and however you would like.
So a message I have to my parent is that I want to tell them that I made it. Like I made it through, and that I'm really glad that they supported me from day one. Always making sure even though they can't help me with college, they always telling me I can do it. Like that constant message of this is not difficult. Like I always say, this is too difficult and I can't do it. But no, like with that message and that support, knowing someone is right behind you to catch you when you fall is just a great feeling. And if you fell and there's someone there to just help pick you back up, it's also something that supported and has helped me through this past 3 years now. But yeah, I love them, and they had helped me tremendously with my self-growth journey, and yeah.
Well, I'm going to speak for your parents. I'm sure they're extremely proud of you and what you've done and what you will do in the future for sure. So is there any last messages that you'd like to share as far as, is there other ways that K-State can help first-gen students?
Yeah, I felt like K-State are doing a great job so far, with helping first-gen students. We have areas for first-gen students to study, to hang out, to meet other first-gen students. But maybe my only thing that K-State could do a better job is making sure they reach out early on to the high schooler, because again, a lot of them might not know what they want to do, and they don't think college is a right path, meaning that they can't afford it, they just want to start working, helping their parents, or helping themselves moving out, things like that. I want K-State to introduce that higher education is possible, even though if you come from a low income family like mine, there's opportunities. So don't feel like, you have to start working right away. Take break to save up because there's scholarship, there's great alumni network, there's employer that want to hire you because you're a K-Stater, like
Sure.
things like that. Just like K-State have a great community, and people outside of K-State might not know that, and we want to show that off with other students, and so that from an early age they can see, oh yeah, I can see myself at K-State.
So just more promotion and
Yes.
more reaching out to those
the
potential
younger,
first gen students and getting involved in maybe, in my head I'm popping into me like some of our local communities have groups of folks that I think K-State could maybe do a little better job of connecting with, you know. So I know that there's like a Filipino association organization that's local that they get together and they do all kinds of fun stuff. So or whatever it may be. I think that's a great suggestion. So thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're very busy being a senior in business, so thank you again. And we look forward to having you, not for you to graduate, but then also for having you for a couple more years with your graduate. So.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and I hope any things I say, maybe like one thing that might be helpful is good enough. Because again, like sometimes you felt like, oh yeah, all of this thing and everyone just telling me all kind of different things. But at the end of the day is kind of like your choice and what you learn and what fit you, because not everyone is the same. And don't compare yourself to others.
Find
your path.
For sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you.